Hi, my name is Wouter Bang, and I just want to quickly introduce you to our case. Our case is all about television in the living room, the experience, and actually what do the big media companies and broadcasters need to do in the upcoming 10 years to keep up with us. And to do that, I want to quickly go through an experience, and for that I want to take you 10 years into the future. We don't know exactly what 10 years into the future is going to be like, but we'll know in our living rooms, in our homes, we'll probably have some fancy big screens that we can control all kind of ways with our hands and maybe our brain, and don't want to go too much detail of that because we don't know exactly what it is that we have and how we're going to use it. But what I do want to talk about is the content. What are we going to watch? How are we going to watch it? And to do that, I want to do that from a user point of perspective. Me as a user, what I want is to watch my TV shows, watch my content, and I want to have it all there. I want to have everything from user-created content to the professional movies. I want it all in one big thing. So I really need that one. Now, how are we going to do this? Well, the content, let's say it's there, but how does the screen actually know what I want to watch? Because when I turn it on, I want it to tell me, or actually just play what I want to watch. And then we can do that through data, because we're already tracking so much data now through our iPhones and whatever, my location, the people I'm with, what I'm buying, it knows everything. So, to show you how that works, I want to give a quick example of the World Championship final soccer. The Netherlands is playing and I'm going to watch it with 10 friends. But first, I'm going to the Albert Heijn to buy some beers and some chips. So, my phone knows that, my screen knows that, so when I get there, the people are there, they know they're coming to my house, and when I turn on my screen, it will show me the finals. Because I went to the Albert Heijn and it knows I bought the beer, so it's like, oh yeah, he's with friends and beers, and this has got to be the final that he wants to watch. So, that's basically, really short, how it works. And then, how do we solve this problem? Because there's an equation that we need to solve, and that's actually the data from the user, the content that the media companies produce, and actually the money. So by solving the equation of data, content, and money, we can create a new business model that actually lets me as a user do not see all this noise. I don't want to flip through channels. I don't want to do that. All I want is to see my movie, or my game, or my TV show. And we want to take away all this noise, and we're creating a business model for that. Thank you.
Let's see what the dragons think. Let's a moment. Okay, this will be some critical around here. Let's. Who wants to start with their feedback? Yes. Okay.
All right. So this is like my wheelhouse. This is the stuff that I do. So you coming tomorrow? Okay. So I'll talk about most of this. I'm going to talk about most of that. By the way, relative to what we do and don't know about gesture and thought control and so on interface, we actually do know a lot. So if you want to talk about that when I'll meet with your project, we know a lot more than we don't at this point about what the next 10 years will look like, and that's so I'm happy to talk about that. I loved your high concept. I love the problem that you were solving for. You know, before, like when I was saying to the other guy, you didn't just define a business clearly. You did, as a matter of fact, the test is when you said, here's the thing that we're going to do. There was like an audible gasp, like people like, yeah, you know, get it all in one place. So that's the good news. You really are onto something. The bad news is that it's impossible. The bad news is that no one business is really going to be able to do all that. It's going to have to be a collective of a bunch of different people working together, saying, okay, as an advertiser, here's how I'm going to participate. As a cloud service provider, so what you actually defined was not a company, it was an ecosystem. But that's still cool, because from knowing that, you could pick out a sector and try and dominate. So, I mean, what I would encourage you to do for your final project is to identify a piece of that, and then your thesis, if you know what I mean, is, okay, here's how the world is going, here's the part that we're going to play in. It's the data portion, or it's the customer facing portion, or it's the content portion, or whatever, but, you know, I mean, you're obviously doing the right thing, I can see it on your faces, you're excited about it, that's worth a lot, so, even though you don't have a model, I still say that, you know, I would be willing to hear more.
Maybe some critical notes.
Well, since it's also my business, and I think is
Okay.
I agree with Seth that you're onto something, and also that companies are busy trying to explore these kinds of opportunities, integrate all kinds of aspects. What I do like a lot is that you start dreaming. So what could be possible, whether it's an ecosystem or a company, or I agree that it is an ecosystem, in my opinion. This is real stuff for companies, and I think you took a big step in trying to explore the possibilities.
Thank you.
Of course I agree with other dragons. I'm just not so sure whether people want to delete all the noise. That's an assumption you should test. I mean, thinking about it, like during the whole presentation, at the point you said it, I was thinking like, do I want to delete all my noise? To what extent do I like it when I come home, after I went to the supermarket to get some beer and some crisps, that television flips on and puts on the soccer match. In that case, maybe I can imagine that it would be helpful, but I can imagine also a bunch of other situations where it's not going to be helpful, or where I actually don't want to do it. And I'm repeating myself, but the challenge is that you have to collect all these data from all these different platforms and create some sort of ecosystem. The challenge is going to be like how you're going to use the data to predict what people actually want. Like, what do they want? Do they want to have the television flipped on? Do they want to have the washing machine wash at 5 in the morning so they can hang up the the clean laundry at 7 or blah blah blah? So I really like your idea, like how you looked into the future. But I think one of your major challenges is going to be how you're going to translate all that data into something which is going to be beneficial for us consumers.
Are people ready for it, and how can we get them there?
But I think all the companies, because a lot of the companies I consult, they all ask the same question, like we want this kind of ecosystem because it helps us deliver much more relevant ads. So in terms of business, you're good, but you have to make it work.
I think the word relevant you used, I forgot it. I think.
Okay. Is that also your concern about deleting the noise, Maaike?
Yes, but it's not really, you know, there's too many experts around me here, but I'm thinking, you know, about the immense popularity of these guerrilla surprise experiences. The nietmijnkeus.nl site, you know, where you can order a present, that's it, a present, and then after 3 weeks you get a present. People want to be surprised. They do not want to have it customized all the time without being able to get into the system and then choose for themselves. But you know, it is going that way. It is going that way. But
so maybe it's learning from what people are doing and then surprise them, and not doing always.
But then that's going to be even more complicated, because this whole data thing is already complicated. And then you have to use it to not give them what you think is obvious that you should want, but then surprise them then. Well,
yeah,
that's a challenge.
That will be the challenge, because is the system deciding, or are we deciding? That will be your challenge.
You are.
Yeah, I wrote them down for you, so I will give it to you.
Okay, great.
Thank you.